Welcome. My name is Patrick. I'm a comic book professional. As you can see, this is not any type of studio. I did not anticipate recording a YouTube today, nor did I anticipate ever being a YouTuber. I am getting older. I probably started with a face for radio, and it's getting no better. So it's all a bit unexpected, but I'm motivated today because comics are at what I believe to be an inflection point, right? The industry. So we're clear there's always going to be comics. It's sequential art. You can find it on caves. It's part of the human experience. It's a thing that we immediately understand. It's one thing after another. I could wax poetic about the Scott McCloud understanding comics sort of spirit of the art, but I'm talking about the industry. A lot of people have been concerned for a long time, but there's been a bit of a prohibition on speaking about it. Somehow saying obvious things, having real conversations has been roped into culture war bullshit, which, as is usually the case with culture war bullshit, seems to benefit corporations. If we're fighting each other over nonsense, I guess we're not holding to account, as they say, the people that actually have power. Look, comics are not doing well. Comic book stores are closing. Weren't allowed to say comic books were suffering for a long time. I think that dam has broken, and I think that anyone who would try to put me in a box now because I'm joining that chorus of, hey, things aren't doing great, I think that person is increasingly on their own island. I think everybody out here understands comics are not doing the business that they should be doing. The reasons for that are multiform, and attempting to make it about one thing is maybe where we've gone wrong here. There is a culture war element to it. For the life of me, I cannot figure out why some decisions have been made at some of the larger publishers. There's a debate. Is it ideologues steering the ship? Is it corporate know-nothings who are just following what they believe to be a trend? These people have been debating this for a long time. I think that we don't even really know who to blame. Do you blame creative talent for kind of being scared of their own shadow and not delivering work with any bite? Do you blame the editors for hiring those people / tolerating that type of work? Do you blame the managerial class for perhaps putting unreasonable mandates on the editors and not allowing them to do their job to the best of their capacity? Or do you blame the top? Do you blame the head of the dragon, I guess? And is there some type of edicts from the C-suite that don't allow the creatives to do the best work? All these things are viable, and they're probably all true in parts, right? Here's all I need. Here's all I know. Some got to change. And for the record, I don't work for Marvel or DC. I don't hold, I'm not angry about these companies. I don't harbor, you see these fellas out there that want publishers to fail. I'm not that. I want everybody to succeed, make some money, be able to deliver lasting value and art that matters to people that really enjoy a thing. That's what I want. But something got to change. The reason I chose today to fire up my iPhone 11 and start recording this is because Mark Millar had a suggestion. Mark Millar talks about, first on this Twitter, the amount of money that he was making when he was working for Marvel. It was an absurd amount of money. Some back of the envelope math, he was getting rich at Marvel. Nobody's gotten rich at Marvel except for two people, and the executives, the last maybe 10 years. So this was a different era, right? Different era. And we should acknowledge that. Can't go home again, different world. We've painted ourselves in a corner. What do we do now? Well, he says we've got to change the royalty structure at the big two, Marvel, DC. So right now, according to him, they get 2%. Creators get 2% royalties on all sales over 50,000. It's in addition to your page rate. Page rates are very low right now. The 2% on the 50,000 sales. There's very few books at Marvel and DC that sell regularly over 50,000. Your first issue probably will, but let's just take a Moon Knight book, for example. Your first issue will sell over 50,000, but that's on the back of variant covers and other assorted gimmicks, whatever you can do to get the retailer to pick it up. But it's gonna have a 50% or more attrition rate on issue 2. So really, you're existing in this 15,000 to 30,000 range where you're never going to. That 2% is just not happening for you because the 50,000 is not happening for you. So Millar's point is we need the best talent. I don't think he means new talent. We need the best talent to breathe life into this industry. How do you get the best talent? Incentives. How can we incentivize them? Well, he knows that the big two are not going to part with their money outright. They're not going to raise their page rates to a reasonable amount. However, they could, without sacrificing money up front, they could change the royalty to a 50-50 split with the creative team on all sales over, he suggests, 60,000. He believes that this incentive will cause working creators to do their best work and bring what he really means, bring the top tier talent back to work at these companies. Because here's a little insider baseball. Everybody left for video games. I work in video games. Everybody works in video games. It's you make more money. You can feed a family. The 80% in video games are making more money than the 1% anything but the 1% in comics. So would this bring out the best talent? I think Millar is onto something. I think this is probably the cleanest way to try to incentivize people. But I still have my doubts that the best talent would reappear magically. Nobody. I don't want to get myself in trouble because I don't have any grudge towards these companies. I'm not mad at the editors. I don't need enemies among my colleagues. So I just please understand that I'm saying this in the best possible spirit. Nobody great wants to work with chains around their neck. You're doing the butterfly stroke. I don't know. I'm not a swimmer. And you're trying to win a thing. You set your personal best, but you're doing it with chains around your neck. You're doing it. Somebody's like chained a mini fridge around your waist. Nobody wants to work like that. Again, respectfully to my peers and colleagues in this business, the people that are staying at Marvel and DC right now either have one foot out the door in other industries and they continue to do this because it raises their profile and makes them some money, or they got nowhere else to go. So when he's thinking, let me get the best talent back with this scheme, and again, I don't begrudge him for trying to think of one. I think this is a better, there's some speculation that he's got these ideas now because he has to work again because his Netflix deal is ending. But I personally don't care. It's a good suggestion. It's a good suggestion. It doesn't matter. Like, we don't need to, we don't need to seek conspiracy in a trying to fix the thing. So, would this bring back, and also who are we talking about when we're talking about the best? He's always, when he talks about the best, he means people that sell, right? He is a salesman first and foremost. He's a good writer for sure. There's no doubt. I respect him. But he is a populist. He wants to sell things. He wants the biggest umbrella, the broadest brush he can. So who does he mean? I don't know. In my humble opinion, we've undermined, when I say we, I mean the entire market, but largely Marvel and DC, have trained a generation to not even know who the greats are, right? They've actively written these people out of their history. They've maybe they were asking for too much money. There's a lot of things here. A young editor, and I don't begrudge this at all, a young editor wants to bring in talent that they found, that they helped make, sometimes that they want to control. But I don't begrudge them that. Every generation wants to find their voice, and editors are no different, right? They want to find the creators that they can say they had a part in their career. That's different than hiring the guy who you know can do it, right? And then, there's some rather goofy ageism at play where you write off the old fellas as incapable, out of touch. More money works for a lot of people. Is it enough to get somebody truly, truly great? And would we even know who the truly great creators are anymore? Like, who is Millar referring to? Him and Brian Hitch on a book would do great for 5 issues. It's not a knock against anybody. Some of these fellas that are from the 2000s, 2010s, some of these fellas are among the best writers in comics I've ever had, right? But is this going to lure like a Brubaker back? I don't think so. There's a lot of people who are happy doing what they're doing and would only do this for a disgusting check. No disrespect to Hickman, but that was the deal at Marvel. They paid him out the ass. And would he do that for the love of it? But I wanted to start this YouTube and start talking about comics in a way that, it's just my thoughts, I guess. This is a long fucking video for just my thoughts, but whatever. Maybe we'll dial it into something and arrive someplace soon, someplace decent. I just want to we'll talk about craft, but we're also going to talk about maybe how we could make this better. Some suggestions, just anything. I'll take, when your boss comes in and says, okay, blue sky, any suggestion, just spitball, give me any, that's where I'm at. You can give me anything. A homeless guy walks in and says, I think we should make comics, they should be circles. I'm available to your ideas, sir, because nothing else seems to be working. Leave a comment, please.